All right, welcome back to Cheesehead Chatter. On today's episode, Sal has officially played third base twice. Where is Joey Wiemer's stock? I feel like it's plummeting. The Bucks defense is legit, apparently under Doc Rivers. The Admirals are buzzing. Badger hockey has a huge series this weekend, and we finally got to hear from Gutey and Jeff Hafley. But before we get started, we must thank a presenting sponsor, Insect Hobby Design Co.
Another episode brought to you by Insect Hobby Design Co. Insect Hobby Design Co. has over 20 years of expertise in branding, design, illustration, and web development. Insect Hobby Design Co. brings a wealth of experience to the table. Whether you're a small business aiming for a standout identity or a nonprofit aiming for profit enterprise seeking impactful visuals, their team is here to help elevate your brand with precision and creativity. We would also like to thank them for giving us these special mics that we've been using these last few episodes. Big upgrade to the setup. To learn more, go to insecthobby.com.
Thank you, Cal.
My pleasure.
Thank you, of course.
Thank you, Calvin.
So it turns out Sal working with infielders isn't a gimmick, and it's legit because Pat Murray decided to run him out there first 2 games of spring training at third base, saying, "Here you go, bud, figure it out." And that he did, because not only is he picking it, he's still hitting, and I think that's what really matters in all this.
Absolutely. It's definitely a tough time for him to attempt to try and learn a new position, but I think we're slowly learning just how great of an athlete Sal truly is. With him being able to pick up third and second, and I know he's been working a little bit at second base, so if he can pick up third, I have no doubt that he'll be able to pick up second base. But with him being able to pick it up on the fly like this, it has been very, very impressive.
Yeah, and we've said it before and we'll continue to say it, but Sal being able to play third base just opens up so much more possibilities in how Murph might want to fill out the lineup card if a guy needs a day off. Sal can hop into third because I think that's really just shows how much Sal can play. He really wants him to be in the lineup as much as possible, and to be able to play third, second, keeps him in the lineup as much as possible. The dude's a gamer.
Yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Watching the spring training game today, just that one catch that he had to steal an extra base hit from Trout. I mean, it's becoming really hard to keep him out of the outfield. It's a plus that he can play the infield because when he has like a pseudo off day, he can play in the infield, and that opens up for like let's say a Blake Perkins spot start, or if Joey Wiemer makes the opening day roster, it just gives the Brewers a lot more things to do with a lot of the athletes that they already have on the roster.
See, I think this just proves that like he's just a great athlete, and it's just gonna be hard to keep out of the lineup. I guess I don't really care where he plays. We've seen the Brewers have a surplus of outfield. I mean, Churio had 2 hits yesterday, so the Brewers are set up well in the outfield, and I feel like Churio is going to play center field. So really, it's that battle for right. And the more Sal can do for himself to play second, play third, it's going to help him out. But I don't know if you guys saw his interview about why he wanted to learn the infield, but he basically just said he wanted to learn the infield to become a better outfielder, to become a better baseball player overall. And I don't think that's something we see a lot anymore. Guys are so like, no, I am just a center fielder. And to have the willingness to be like, oh, I'm going to go learn how to play third. So even if I'm playing outfield, I understand, okay, I've got to make this type of throw into third base to help my guy out. I think that goes a long way.
I just think it's invaluable. Yeah, Cal, I just think it's invaluable. Like, you go right ahead. I think you can speak along that.
I think just seeing the
for it.
ball off the bat, being able to get reads is going off what AJ said, is being able to see different ways the ball comes off the bat, help him get better reads in the outfield because he's already a great outfielder. But the fact that he wants to become an even better outfielder, become a better fielder, which we know he already is a great fielder, invaluable. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I just think it just speaks to him as a teammate. You know, him wanting to learn those extra positions, because especially with him, he's coming in as a top 100 prospect. I don't know what his peak was with on the pipeline list, but as a guy with that type of pedigree, he has the ability to dig his heels in and try to steal one of those outfield spots from one of his other teammates. Like, he definitely had the opportunity, because right now I feel like he's far and ahead of where Joey Wiemer and Garrett Mitchell are, just like within the system. Like, I feel like he's an absolute lock for the 26-man roster coming into the season. And with him having the willingness to want to learn those extra spots, I think that's invaluable for him wanting to grow and be able to have the best possible 9 out there for the Brewers at all time.
And he's healthy.
Yes.
Last year,
Yes.
we know he was not healthy.
That is very, very true. Because I know he was getting some hard contact, but his exit velocities comparatively to the year before in the minors, it just wasn't near where we knew it was supposed to be. Because yes, he's a contact first guy, but he's got a little bit more juice than what he's flashed in Milwaukee and his
And
cup of coffee in the league.
he's got
Yeah.
that gap to gap power too, especially with his wheels. He's able to turn a decently hit ball into the gap into a double, hard hit ball in the gap into triple, like we saw. Well, today should have been a clear triple, and it was, but he's not going to hit as many home runs as Garrett or Wiemer will, but he's still got that gap to gap pop, which is beneficial for him.
That was the easiest triple I think I've ever seen run. Like, it didn't look like he exuded too much effort to try to get to third base there.
No, once he turned the corner at first base, I mean, it was like almost a no doubter that he was going to be he was standing up at third too. It was awesome to see.
But like you mentioned, Jay-Z, I think he's a lock for the opening day roster. It's just a matter if he's playing second base, right field, or third base.
Even before he
opening
was
day.
learning how to play on the dirt, I think he was almost an automatic lock for the 26 man coming into the season.
Definitely.
So I think a dark horse that we need to talk about more, and I think he honestly might have the prettiest swing in the organization. And I know that's usually reserved for lefties, but it's Wes Clark. That dude is consistently hitting 26 home runs a year in minor league baseball. And everybody's talking about that man's swing right now because it's simple. He's a big dude. I get that, so the ball's gonna fly. But man, is his swing fun to watch.
I mean,
I think
yeah,
he's a dark horse candidate to find some innings.
he burst onto the scene a few days ago with 2 home runs in the first spring training game. Can't think of a better way to get yourself out there. But
But
I still don't think he gets enough at bat to get those 18 home runs that Fangraphs
Yeah.
projecting.
but no,
He's
we
gonna
see,
get
they see the
some.
vision though. They see the vision.
They
They
do
see
see
it.
the vision.
I mean, looking at like guys that where he would fit, he's behind Reese Hoskins. He's behind now Gary Sanchez at the DH spot. It's really hard right now for Wes Clark to find innings on the Brewers just based off the positions that he can play. Can he play third base?
No, I think
wouldn't.
they have him
No,
at a
It's
first base catcher. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been working
Yeah.
out a decent amount behind the dish because I've been seeing him in some of those simulated games clips that the Brewers have been putting out, which have been awesome. Please keep putting those clips out on Twitter. I love them, especially the DL Hall one today. That was awesome.
Their social
So-
media team has been on a tear. I just want to shout that
Yeah,
out.
that
They've
you
been
know what,
killing
this
it.
is worth a tangent. Like that, the social media content this spring training for the Brewers has been A1. Just the little quirks of being able to learn a little bit more about the guys, and even them just being able to snap behind the catcher, just video of like guys like DL Hall, and also I've seen Mizorowski a little bit, Aaron Ashby, and just being able to see guys who haven't been getting any spring training at bats yet and who will be coming eventually, just being able to scroll Twitter and be like, hey, like I do know that he is eventually going to be playing for the Brewers this season.
And
I
shout
like
out
that
to the
Devin
bad boy
Yelly
Nick
clip.
Yeah, Bad Boy Nick deserves a huge shout
getting
out
MVP
Pa-
chance.
from Padres fans.
Yep.
Hey, he's the hardest worker in the Brewers organization, and
Hey,
that
he
is
is-
so true.
Game
He is the
recognizes
Prince of
game.
Milwaukee.
Yep.
He really is.
So is Clark in front of or behind Black? I think he's behind because Black can play third base. But both dudes bring some interesting things to the table.
They bring the absolute total opposite approach at the plate, and I guess it'll be what the Brewers want to prioritize based on what they have on their 26-man roster. Because Tyler Black is definitely a guy that will control the strike zone, make decent contact, drive the gaps, but like Wes Clark is up there to do damage. Like that is he has been didn't he hit one off of a fastball and a slider in his 2 home run game, if I am correct? Like
I believe so.
Because I think I saw an interview where he was mentioning that he was a fly front side open type of guy, so it makes sense, especially with him being a pure power guy. But for him to stay on the slider and him to be proud of himself to make those strides, I think it is huge for him unlocking that next step of him being a professional hitter.
Where's
Mm.
a guy like Jefferson Cuero sit in this equation if Wes Clark decides to keep doing damage?
I think they want a full season of Cuero in AAA because he didn't play in Nashville this last year. I don't believe, right?
I think he got a cup of coffee with JC.
Yeah, I think he was called up for that playoffs.
So I think he's probably a dude that needs to get a full year, especially at the catching position.
Absolutely.
Man's got
So
a
I'm looking
hose
at Wes
though.
Clark's
And
career
he had
minor
a
league
good hit.
stats. He's a career 233 hitter with 45 home runs in the minors. So, I mean, he is. It's kind of like Reese Hoskins numbers.
How old is Wes
Like,
Clark? I'm curious.
he is 24 years old.
So he's kind of sitting on that edge of like pushing big leagues, like
Mhm.
that age of like when you should start really be looking to hopefully break soon. So okay,
I don't think he's
maybe a
far.
year in Nashville. No, he is definitely not far off at
No.
all.
I think he gets a cup of coffee this year. I don't see him spending the whole
Absolutely,
year
with
in
the
Nashville.
way, just the way the Brewers like to use their entire 40-man and farm system,
Yeah.
I almost will bet like anything that he'll at least get one at bat this season.
I like
Mhm.
this saying of the cup of coffee.
Well, yeah, he had a little cup of coffee, a little cup of
Never,
Joe.
Cup of Joe.
I've never heard that before, but
You've
it
never heard that
works.
before?
No, I have not.
Oh,
Really?
that's surprising.
Really, yeah.
With this guy, you've never heard that before?
No, he
I
just
think he
became
said it 15 times in the last 5 minutes.
He, for some reason, he just decided to bring it out of his bag. I've never heard
It's
that
Hey,
because
from
he's
this man.
extremely blue collar.
You know,
Hey,
I
you
haven't
never know
really
when
hung out with him since he's become blue collared. So
hey, you never know when I'm gonna go deep into the bag, all right? You never know when I'm gonna pull some out of the bag of tricks.
So as much as Wes Clark's stock is ascending, I feel like Wiemer's is plummeting quickly right now.
those at
His?
bats were
They were tough watches.
they were something. I mean, it was a lot of good morning, good afternoon, and see you later, pal.
Not even competitive too. That's the worst
He
thing.
didn't even
No.
get to sip his coffee.
He's
It felt like he was just in stand-ins, like, all right, Joey, go stand in for this at bat.
He was doing the Miguel Vargas last year in spring
Yeah.
training.
just seeing as many as he could
He was
possibly.
doing the Bryce Harper versus Hobie.
Yeah,
No, that's an
legend.
old-timer.
I don't know. I feel like
So
with this approach that Wiemer has, especially the at bats today he had, it looks like he's not going to be able to take outside pitches the opposite way. And he did that pretty well last year during his time up here in Milwaukee. But I don't know. I feel like he's too closed off up front. I'm curious to hear what you guys think in terms of his stance changes and what you saw today.
I don't know. I
I'm all for
saw
stance changes, but like
Mhm.
the
Swing
changes
changes,
to
yeah.
Rang made sense. Makes sense.
Yep.
Hands are lower. He looks more balanced. Mitchell even looks. Garrett Mitchell looks way more balanced.
Oh yeah,
Wiemer is
absolutely.
just. He looks like a really strong baby giraffe when he's
Because that
hitting, and it's
that's
not
really what he
good.
is, though. Like, I guess you really have to figure out how to get his almost backside grounded. Because I feel like that's really what it's coming down to is him staying grounded and like him spinning off like anything and everything he sees. Because yes, Cal, I did notice that he's very, very pull heavy compared to where he was last year. But it's just frustrating at the
I
end.
don't I don't know if you saw this, but to me it seemed like he was almost trying to do that bat flip that he did last year. Like
Where he
it
just
was
kind of like
almost
flipped it out there.
like where he was coming here and he was almost gonna
Oh
do
yeah,
his whole like bat flip, but then it almost seemed like he stopped himself and then just gave up on the pitch. Like I felt like he was giving up on a lot of pitches that were very hittable.
so do you not think he's comfortable in this stance yet? Like, do you think this is
100%.
still?
Oh, 100%. Because the small clip that like had his stock skyrocket in BP, because we all saw it where everyone was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's Aaron Judge mix or whatever. And It's just like, well, he still has to unlearn those bad habits, and once it almost seemed like when he is struggling, you can almost see it with his just hand movements. Because if you go through and look at his at bats from April to May to June, July, like his hand movements get bigger and bigger and bigger, like with him flipping his bat like he did. And I just feel like you can really tell where he is like between the ears based on how much his hands are moving within space.
Yeah. So is this turning into a Joey Wiemer versus Garrett Mitchell for the last position player spot on the opening day roster? Or is it like Perkins is probably the last guy who's ahead of him, basically? Who's the starter or the fourth outfielder?
Yeah, I think that's what it's really coming down to. And right now, I think Garrett Mitchell, just like the aura around him and what he brings to like the gamer side of it, I just feel like he has that slightly more positive impact than Wiemer does at this moment.
And I feel like
And
Perkins in
him being
AAA,
left-handed helps.
yeah, Perkins in AAA is not really going to help him, but Mitchell and Wiemer being able to be down there would help them more at this point in their career than it would with Perkins. If that makes sense. Because Mitchell and Wiemer are still developing at this point. Perkins, you already know what you're getting with him, and he's really good at that fourth outfield spot. So I feel like he kind of has that edge at this moment.
He's perk 30. He's ready. I mean, he is who he
Absolutely.
is. And he plays the game exactly how he is. I mean, he had a stolen bag today.
Yep.
So
I mean, Fangraphs has Garrett Mitchell getting the start in left field on opening day.
I'm in left or right.
in left,
Left.
that
They
would
have
put Yelich DHing.
they have Yelich DHing, and then they have Gary and Joey Wiemer both on the bench. It leaves out Blake Perkins and Tyler Black.
I think Yelich is already penciled in to play left field because he wants
He's
to
the
play the
best.
field. I think he's gonna play like half it out in left and half DH, but I do think at least to start the year he's in left.
I think Gary
Is the
Sanchez is the
DH.
DH.
Do they have Churio
Yes.
slotted in center?
Yes, they have
Okay.
they have Churio, they have Joey Ortiz at
They-
third,
They
Turang
probably
at
have Churio
second.
hitting what, seventh in that Fangraphs lineup?
Yeah, seventh.
I like him in the 9 spot, at least to start the
They
year.
have Joey Ortiz in the 9 spot.
Which I kind of like that.
I say
Yeah.
flip him.
I think
I think eventually
The-
they do with Murph.
in the 7 hole, I feel like the 7 hole is like, I don't know.
It's a run
If you-
producing spot still, especially with the guys in front of them.
That's true. But
A lot of
I
extra
think
base hits between Reese, Willie, and Gary.
I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like the 9 hole is like someone you still want to get on base, especially with the DH and having batting straight 9.
I'm not gonna lie though, Turang's at bats today. Those are some of his better at bats we've seen in a while.
The one
What, he had
pitch
a
I did
single and a double.
If he's able to produce at like an above average rate, I think that helps the team exponentially. Kind of
Hit
what do you do with Ortiz and Sal? Then a little bit. Sal's out and right, I guess, and you have Cherry out in center, Yelich
Yeah.
out in left, and
if
Ortiz at
Turang could
third.
hit 265 with like a 360 on base percentage, I think it's in a good spot.
It's a great spot,
only-
in my opinion.
the only thing
Yeah.
I didn't like from the Turang at bats is that he's still chasing that high fastball. He did follow it off,
Yeah.
but
It's a
I-
start though.
it is a start. He at least made contact with it.
I was at the point last year, especially in the playoffs, where I was really like, he was such a black hole in Turang in that lineup that I was begging for him to bunt or take a walk. Like it was that bad. So the fact
He
that
did
if he
square in
could,
his first at bat today.
just get on base, hit the fastball, he's gonna be
Hit the fastball, please.
hit the fastball. It's all we're begging. Please, Bryce.
It's the start.
We love your glove. We really do.
So I think a guy that's going to fly up the Brewer system because Murphy is in love with him and will not stop talking about him is Luis Lara. Like he's like, I want to. Murphy flat out said, I want to keep this guy all camp, but they won't let me. Like he's out here just selling out the front office like it's nothing, just because he feels like it.
Murph
And
being
then
Murph.
did you see he was supposed to let Rodriguez, you like I don't even know how to say his first name. You're
I have no clue. He starts with an
Seth
E.
Rodriguez. He was supposed to sit because he just got there. And Murph goes, yeah, I forgot. And put
Put
him
him
in the
in.
game.
Imagine being an 18-year-old kid just showing up to camp and the old guy who's in charge of everything turns to you and goes, "All right, you're in." Like, what?
It's like
Put
straight out of a
yourself in those
movie.
shoes. Yeah, it honestly is. And it's like, all right, kid, go get him.
It
Me.
does feel like every time Lara gets in the game, though, he does something ridiculous, whether it's defensively or offensively. Today it was defense, but if
You
Murph
know,
loves him as much as he does, he's going to fly up the system.
He's just
I
so
have-
electric to watch.
I have two things about Luis Lara. I hope he doesn't turn into what Hedbert Perez turned into.
Oh,
Because
God, I forgot about that.
Hedbert Perez was in like this exact same situation 2 years ago. He was supposed to be up next.
Yep.
Everyone loved him in camp, and then he just couldn't hit. In where was he? Carolina, I think.
I believe
They
Yeah,
stuck
he was
so.
him.
in low A.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, he's still only 19, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hedbert's got a shot, but he's got to have a big year.
Yeah.
But the thing with Luis Lara is he is the Jackson Churio of this year.
Absolutely.
I like that.
He's a very athletic guy. And I saw something where people are calling him the best defender in the Brewers system. And with him being able to show out like this, I can definitely see why he has this highly rated glove.
He's going to be special, and I do think that ends up forcing the hand even more with the Wiemer Mitchell decision. This kid's 18 and not really that far away.
It's crazy to
He's
think
that
about. A
good.
kid is 2 years younger than me in a big league camp. And here I am podcasting.
Cheerio's
I mean, you wanna
19 still. He hasn't turned 20 yet.
I mean,
Hey, Cal,
Ethan
you're
Salas
still
is
you're
like
still a baseball
18,
player.
17, 18. I don't understand how Salas is that good at that age for the Padres.
Weren't there
He's just a
talks about
freak.
them potentially calling him up at some point last year? Or am I just
I
hallucinating?
mean, they probably just floated it as like
yeah.
we suck right now. How about
How about we
17 year
has to sell
old?
some tickets? Yeah.
Got to pay for Xander's contract somehow.
for him to play second base.
What's your favorite contract, Jay-Z?
It is by far my favorite
So-
contract.
Thanks, Scott.
Off a tangent of bad contracts. Thank you to a commenter on TikTok for throwing this out there, so we might as well hit it. The worst trades in Brewer history. Cal, you want to rip this first one?
Yeah, I'll do it. So this happened 2 years ago. Daniel Norris, the Brewers acquired Daniel Norris for Reese Olson. Reese Olson, right-handed pitcher, starting pitcher. He had a pretty good year with Tigers. And this kind of just shows how well the Brewers have done in trades the last few years, that this is one of their worst ones. But Reese Olson kind of burst onto the scene this last season. I'm trying to pull up his stats real quick. And he kind of made a name for himself with the Tigers. He had a 3.9 ERA, which is respectable with the Tigers, especially with how bad they are. 103 innings pitched, ERA plus of 111, which is solid. But I think this is just a testament to how well the Brewers have done in terms of trade. But this is one that kind of hurts a little bit. But if there's one thing the Brewers can do well now, it's develop pitching. So it is what it is at this point.
Okay, Gaber, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back to last off season with a Brewers Mariners swap of Colton Wong for Jesse Winker and Abraham Toro. Now, it's bad for both teams. Obviously, Colton Wong's not a Mariner anymore. He got DFA'd during the year last year, and I don't think he's signed. Maybe he signed. I don't know. But Winker probably had one of the worst offensive seasons that we've had to witness, and he got 2 playoff at bats.
What do you mean? He was above average in the clutch.
Yep.
Oh, all right, foolish baseball. It doesn't really matter in the clutch when you can't hit in the first 5 innings.
He had a negative WAR.
He did. And then you go, oh, they also got Abraham Toro. Well, he's in Oakland now. The Brewers traded him off to Oakland. So there is not a single person in this trade still with the team, and it's only been a year removed. Like I think that's just one of the craziest things is that a year removed, not a single person swapped is still in their organization.
I feel like most of the bad Brewers trades just haven't necessarily been bad for them. They've just been total bad trades all around.
It's
Like
fizzled
both
out
teams
everywhere.
lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
I think I'll have my personal least favorite is the Matt Bush trade.
Come on.
I'm sorry. I really liked Antoine Kelly as a prospect. He's a left-handed throwing guy. I know he was an older guy in Appleton at the time when he was dealt, but he's a left-handed reliever guy that I think was in AAA last year for the Rangers, but I really liked him as a fastball first, possibly back end of the bullpen guy eventually. But Matt Bush really didn't do much or move the needle for the Brewers to go out and get him. Not really great person. Didn't really move the needle very much on the team.
I'm Matt Bush.
You are Matt.
The thing with that trade, I remember when it came out that I saw we got Matt Bush, and I was pretty excited because he was having a good year with the Rangers at that point. And then it kind of all the details came out. Antoine Kelly was getting sent, and I was like, wish we would have kept him. In
I'm
hindsight,
gonna say
2020.
one thing. I will forever be a Mark Mathias fan because he threw me a ball in Cincinnati because I knew his name.
You were the only one that
He
knew his
was-
name. He looked back at you and looked at you like there's no way this random child knew my name while shagging balls. And it was like, hey, Mark. And his head snapped as fast as I've ever seen a major leaguer shagging batting practice has ever snapped his head. And he throws it directly to him. So shout out Mark Mathias.
He's like, whoa, me? All right.
But
I
yeah,
will say the Rangers are forcing Kelly up a lot faster than the Brewers were ever going to be willing to.
well, a low arm angle lefty that throws above 93. I mean, at some point, he is almost guaranteed a major league spot. If he can throw
At some
strikes,
point, he's Hobie Milner.
I think he throws a little bit harder than Hobie Milner, but
For now.
he's
For now.
yes, for now,
Until
yes.
he's doing PFPs.
And then he sees them.
Hobie. He was here.
Now he's here.
Now he's out here.
I think mine is going to have to be the Brewers acquiring Jonathan Scope for Jonathan VR, Luis Ortiz, and Gene Carmona. This was another one that obviously didn't work out for anyone, but I had such high hope for Scope coming in, but then it just became so apparent that he never wanted to leave Baltimore. And he
had a grand
said
slam,
it a
though.
few times. Yeah, off of Madison Bumgarner.
After Bronny
Which I'm
got
pretty
thrown
sure-
at.
Yep. It was all set up for him, for his moment.
Everyone
Never
thought,
deliver again.
yeah, everyone thought
singular
Naz were going to turn it
moment.
around. Boy, were we wrong.
I'm still waiting for him to turn it around.
He was just
I mean-
about to figure it out.
This trade was so bad that Travis Shaw and Mike Moustakas were playing second base.
Yeah.
So it wasn't good. And
Hey, Moustakas got a bag for playing second base.
Yeah,
did.
he did.
congrats to him.
Never gonna hit a guy for getting his bag.
No, but it just was such a it was a trade in the moment where I'm like, oh yes, that's huge. That's helping the playoffs. And then it's like, oh my God, he is terrible.
Yeah.
They didn't do their homework and they
He
didn't
got a-
realize he didn't want to leave.
Well, the thing about that is he was really hot that last
was.
week.
He
Going
was
He just
post
won-
deadline.
stupid hot.
He just won Player of the Week.
Yes,
Yeah, and he
did.
got a Player of the Month card in MLB The Show that month. He was just getting ready to play for the Brewers.
And
Not in
then
his head.
plummeted.
David Stern's head he was.
Not sure what's worse, that or Wilmer Flores crying on the field when he thought he was traded to
Oh.
Milwaukee.
Oh, hey.
I mean, you can't fault the man for loving Queens so much.
And now he plays in San Francisco.
Hey, he had a year last year.
Yeah, he
He
did.
did. So we had a few signings and a trade this week. Belly stays with the Cubs 3 years, 80 million. Sorry, Scott Boras, you screwed him again.
He's not lasting that whole 3 years.
He's
He
got
has
opt-outs
opt-outs.
after the first 2 years, after both
Yeah,
years.
it's like, and he's
And I
gonna
saw-
use it and get less money.
Yep.
The breakdown is 27 and a half this year, 27 and a half next year, and then obviously the rest if he stays. But if he has a year like he did this past year, there's no way.
There's no way he
He
stays. No,
stays.
he's gonna look for the money, and then whatever the first offer is that he gets, he'll probably take because he learned his lesson. Hopefully, maybe, possibly not.
They never do.
Yeah, this is a little tangent. I saw that apparently the Yankees had an offer for Snell at 6 years, 170 million, and Boris told him to turn it down, and he's still unsigned.
I'm not giving
So
him more than 4. He's
If-
on the
at
other
this
side of
point, he's
30,
getting-
and
he's getting 2 for 30 million total.
he's getting 1. Take it or
Yeah.
leave it.
And if it's one from the Yankees, they'll pay him 40.
All right, all right. You brought me back to the table. That's a pretty good. If they could give him 4, I mean, maybe.
Maybe. The Cubs also signed Garrett Cooper. I think that's a good signing. I think that's actually
that was sent to.
that's a little bit more of a
Morning
needle mover for me than Belly.
You know, he
because-
was someone that I would have been pro if he would have signed with the Brewers personally. I
Yes.
would have been. That wasn't a guy in Hoskins spot that if him and Hoskins were flipped, everything would be. I mean, I would hate it, but I mean, it would be not the worst in the world if he was playing for the Brewers. So
Kike Hernandez back with the Dodgers. This is the least shocking, I think, signing of the offseason. Because
he got
he's a
his little
fan
troll job
favorite.
in.
Yeah. He's Kike. What do you expect?
He was bound to be a Dodger.
I think my favorite picture of him is the picture of him standing on the bucket during the interview because the lady in the fields is so much taller.
Hard not to love Kike.
But yeah,
Um,
Kike's a Dodger.
Yep.
Good for him.
And Brandon Crawford to the retirement home that is the St. Louis Cardinals.
He
Imagine-
bringing them.
Imagine playing with that Cardinals team on MLB The Show in 2015.
Man,
You'd
good.
run.
God, it'd be nuts.
You'd run.
All I know is that one thing that I sent earlier, where it was like Nolan Arenado was the 9th oldest on the Cardinals when he was traded, and now he's the 10th oldest. And the trade happened, what, 4 years ago now? 5 years
3.
ago?
That's scary to think though
3 or 4.
that Nolan
What-
hasn't been in Colorado for that long, but still, that is just crazy.
Was he in Colorado? He wasn't in Colorado for the COVID year.
No. Was he?
Has it been 4 or 5 years now? But
Let's see. Oh shit, he was in.
I saw someone say we are family friendly. Gabe's on
Gabers.
punishment. I saw someone say they might as well sign Wayno and Yachty just to bring it all back.
Might as well. They might as well just get all the
Bring
old NL
Pujols,
Central
too.
greats.
Bring
And
I
Joey
mean,
Votto. Get Joey Votto too.
I think Nelson Cruz is still available technically.
He can play right field.
They should just get all the good
Can he?
NL Central players from the 2010s. Get Bronny over there. Let's make it happen.
Okay, we're getting weird now.
Alfonso
Let's get weird.
Soriano.
Yeah, there we go. Aramis Ramirez.
Sammy Sosa,
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
the new age Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
And then Manuel Margot, who was just traded to the Dodgers, has now been traded to the Twins for Ozaki High School legend Noah Miller.
The hitters.
I guess I don't know what the Twins are doing.
I
think
guess you
My
get
guess
him
is
for
they don't like
cheap.
that Noah Miller hasn't hit yet.
Yeah, he's kind of like Bryce Trang. Great glove, hasn't really hit.
I think.
But at least Bryce hit in the minors.
I think this just means that, but they're just waiting for Byron Buxton to break so that they can stick him back at DH.
What do you mean? He's going to play 74 games in center field this year.
I mean, he's back.
He is back. I did see
He's
that
in the
he
best
did
shape
go
of his
out.
life.
I mean, he could
Uh,
also
Yeah.
be back. He could also be back on the injured list in a week.
Hey, I saw him go into center field on iPod Touch video that they graciously tweeted out. You know, like I love how Major League Baseball is a billion-dollar company that just can't figure out how to get quality video of their preseason content. That's just me.
Or-
That's a gripe for me.
Paul Skeens was up against Corbin Burns today, and there was no video of it, no stream, no gamecast of it. Like, what are we doing here?
Livy Dunn's boyfriend?
Yeah, that's what he's better known as.
Yeah.
I saw someone tweet out his mug, like his face
Oh, yeah.
shot. And they're like, how did this man lose all of his aura in less than a year?
Does he
He
not
just
have the
looks dead
mustache
inside.
anymore?
He's got
No,
it,
he
but it's-
does. He just looks very pasty.
Yeah.
There's no vibe with him.
Well,
He
happens
looks
when
like
he-
Pittsburgh already did a number to him.
well, that's what Pittsburgh will do to you. If I'm a pitcher,
moving
that's
on.
the last place.
Fair. Moving on to the Bucks. As of like 7 minutes ago, the Bucks have now held 4 of their last 7 opponents under 100 points, and they're figuring some things out. And I like to think it's because of Pat Bev.
I like that. I can roll with that.
I really do believe that is because of Pat Bev really coming into the locker room, pointing at everyone and telling them to get their stuff together. Because
PJ
we're
Tucker.
family friendly.
PJ Tucker vibes.
Belt to a
Yep.
Belt to A. Absolutely.
butt,
that is
baby.
the theme of the second half of the season. Belt to bum.
I mean,
bro.
we saw it that first game he was there. He was grabbing the clipboard. He was directing the timeout huddle. He's been around the league. He's been around basketball. He knows what he's talking about, and he's not afraid. That's what the Bucks needed. They needed that vocal leader. Same thing that PJ Tucker did when he stepped in 2021. Someone has
apparently
to do it.
during practice, he looked at Damian Lillard and said, shoot the ball. Like these 40 footers you're shooting in practice and making,
Mhm.
you need to shoot those in the game.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
he said they need to figure out how to be able to rebound off of those, which is something I never even really thought about. But I also think
That's
that
why he's a dog.
people were overreacting because Doc was 3-7 in his first 10 games, but he had 2 practices with the team and a long West Coast road trip. Now he's had the
And
All-Star
an All-Star break.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
the All-Star break's come and gone. And he's had more practices. We're seeing he literally sat down every player on the team and told them what their role on the team was, what he wants them to do more of, what he wants them to do less of. I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't think Adrian Griffin probably ever did that once during his time here.
Did
Not
he
to knock
tell
on him,
Probably
but
not.
Did he tell Thanasis to play basketball more, or was that not his role?
I'm pretty sure that he
Hey,
wanted
hey.
Thanasis off the team. But like I
If
love
you-
Thanasis' role. He is the
if
absolute
you
best at what he
listen-
does.
If you listen to Pat Bev,
Pat Bev
Thanasis
loves
is the best teammate
Thanasis.
around.
He is the absolute best at what he is paid to do. His job role is very specific and he knows it to a T. It is to pretty much keep Giannis together, to play defense on Giannis in practice, and to be the absolute best teammate that he can be in the NBA for the Bucks. And he is the absolute best at what he does.
I love
Look, that
tenacity.
dude's got the best job security in the league.
Yep.
And there will
So I-
never, ever be Thanasis slander on this pod.
never.
Never.
Because that
I
that
love
man
Thanasis.
works his butt off.
I want
Absolutely.
to see more sham
And he'll
gods
put
from him.
he'll put the sham god on somebody.
I need more minutes from him. I like watching him play basketball.
He's
Yeah,
He's a
because
hooper.
I want to be winning by a lot more against these teams. That'll be able to get him more minutes. I like
mean,
what I
Hey,
think.
he got 12 minutes today.
They played the Hornetscape.
You said you wanted them to beat the bricks off of teams. They beat the bricks off of the Hornets.
Love it.
Do you guys think, and this is probably more for Cal, because I know Cal's our resident Bucks expert, but the trade deadline came and go. Bobby and Pat didn't get traded. Do you think that took us so much pressure off them they could just play free?
That's exactly what I was thinking when I wrote this on the outline. I think having that security and that reassurance that you're still going to be here, that's a huge weight lifted off their back, and they can just play basketball freely, knowing that they're going to be here tomorrow. They're not going to be shipped off to some city where that's not on a contending team. But the fact that they're playing together now, Pat's in his role, which we've seen him do in 2021 during that championship run of playing good defense, hitting the open three. Even Bobby's been playing pretty good defense recently, which he's not a known defender by any means. But today I looked at the box score, he was plus 36. I mean, Bobby's
They played the Hornets.
They did play the
still.
Hornets, but it feels like every time I look at a box score to see the plus minus, Bobby's plus 10 or minus 10.
Look, that's still an NBA team.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, they are
More than
light
Washington.
years. They are
Well,
light
more than the
years ahead of
Wizards.
me at being able to play the game of basketball.
I mean, there's no
There's
LaMelo
a few
Ball playing
factors
today,
there,
so
JC. Vertically challenged in this pod, except Cal.
I'm only
still
6'2" and a
very-
half, 6'3" on a good
See,
day.
he's
All
a point
right,
guard.
all
and a
right.
half. Okay.
all right.
Okay,
You're not
okay.
taller than me, pal.
Oh, want to bet?
Oh.
Oh, blue sock on blue sock crime.
It's my shortstop. Always will be.
I'm not
Did the Bucks
shortstop.
really hold them to 26 points in the first half tonight?
Yep, they sure did. That's like something
wild.
like you see.
But it's the Hornets.
Were you?
Hey, belt to bum, bro. Belt to bum.
I'd be ecstatic if the Bucks held the team to 25 points in the first quarter, let alone in the first half. That's the
So
fewest
clearly
amount
this
of
is a
points.
good defense team.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the fewest amount of points a team has scored in a half this year. Doc Rivers said
I
it
hope
after his
so,
first
like-
game. The cat's out of the bag. You guys can defend. We're seeing
Jay-Z's seen JV high school team score 26 and a half.
Oh. Somehow it happens, but they do.
I think
Hey,
like when I'm
it's not that
watching,
hard to put a
especially
ball in
this
the
past weekend when I was watching them Friday against the Timberwolves and Saturday, who'd they play? Blanking. It was a good team though. The defensive effort was completely different. Now,
Was that Philly?
yes, no, yeah. So it was Sunday.
Yeah, I couldn't help. I was playing.
We get it. You're an athlete. The
Yeah,
defensive
yeah,
effort was
that- yeah,
night
yeah,
and
yeah,
day
sure.
different. They're calling out screens. They're communicating effectively. Like those are two really big wins. And I know Jacob really liked that one on Friday against the Timberwolves. Based
That
off
one
of
had
what
me
was
fired
happening
up.
with
it was a they closed the game is what the overarching theme of why I was so excited. The lineup they had, I really liked that lineup because Chris was out, and
Mhm.
them being able to play that well and to be able to close out a very good Timberwolves team and almost a playoff atmosphere. Because right now, everyone on the West feels like the West has it all wrapped up. And for the Bucks to go into their barn and to play a late night game and to beat them on their own court, I feel like that's a huge momentum swing for them this season.
I think Dame's just playing more freely recently. Like they're getting more actions in Dame's hands. Like we're seeing a lot of dribble handoff with Brooke handing the ball off to Dame at the top of the key. So Dame can potentially get a switch, get a mismatch. And like we saw today, he broke, what was it, Caleb Martin's ankles, pulls up from 30 feet, drills it. Could it have been the All-Star game? It could have been, but I just feel like, or what Shaq said to him, you and Giannis need to sit down and have a talk. What do we need to do? I think they've done that already, and we've seen it. They're on a 3-game win streak now.
I really think the All-Star weekend was a get-right weekend for him. He almost did the, I think it was Juan Soto that did the home run derby after he was struggling during the first half of a season, and then he really broke out in the second half. I really feel like the 3-point contest for Dame was his home run derby for his get-right weekend to really prove to himself that he still can do this, and he's not, as people were calling him, quote-unquote, washed.
It's
No matter.
It's the opposite of Jesus Aguilar going to the home run derby, then just having your season unravel after that. God,
No-
2018 Jesus
No
is
matter
special.
what Giannis tells him that they're the two oldest guys on the East All-Stars, hopefully he's not, as Jacob called him, quote unquote, washed.
And I don't think he is.
And then another older player that the Bucks signed in the buyout market, Danilo Gallinari. I think it's underrated. He's
I mean,
gonna
he
play a
knows
little
Doc's
bit. He's gonna
system.
shoot. Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
clearly a Doc
More
signing.
depth.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of a traffic cone on defense, but it's a good veteran voice, I guess. Can never have
Look,
enough of
we
those.
we
He can
can't all
shoot.
be out here like Brooks blocking 800 shots in his career for 3 different teams.
No.
Kind of forgot Brooke played for LA.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those players that goes to a team and you just kind of forget he was there.
He's the all-time leading scorer in Nets history.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is.
And that was back when he wasn't even shooting 3-pointers that much too.
Nah, he's putting in work on the block.
Yeah, he was.
Going, whoo-hoo, and
He's
On the
that's
laying
why he
it
block.
down.
likes that's why he likes hanging out too close to Dame on the 3-point line. Someone say Splash Mountain.
No,
It's Brook time.
get in the paint. We have Dame.
The Packers, I guess we finally get some news. No news, sort of, whatever. The combines this week. LaFleur's not going for the second consecutive season. I would say that's a good thing based on last year's draft. Like, don't
Absolutely.
overthink this. You
Yep.
just hired a new DC, do stuff there. And then Gutey mentioned that a decision on David Bakhtiari will happen sometime before free agency starts on March 13th. So coming quicker than we expect. But Gutey also said he doesn't like making decisions until he has to, which is a very odd thing for a GM to say. But hey, good for him.
Good for him.
I mean, isn't that all of us though?
That is honestly all of us.
Just like how
And
great we
then
are making decisions on when we record.
We're busy men.
We are busy men.
Rashawn Gary restructures, clearing another 4.871 million in cap space. All of a sudden, the Packers have some room to play with the cap, and Gutey said they're going to be aggressive.
Gutey wants to win a Super Bowl this year, and I really do think, especially with all the draft capital that they have this season, I think they have the second most within the first 5 rounds to the Cardinals.
Top 100.
I think. Yeah,
5 in the top 100.
that
Antoine
is.
Winfield?
That's
I
Please.
huge.
love that.
My only issue is he went to Minnesota, but
Yeah.
I can
mean-
overlook that because he's good.
So did Tyler Nubbin, and
He's not my safety crush. Don't worry. Cameron Kitchens, please.
I think that
Yeah, but-
I think I've seen so many mock drafts on Twitter of him going to Green Bay, and
yeah.
I need it. It'll feed families.
I've
It'll
seen
feed me.
DeJean. I've seen a lot of Cooper DeJean too.
I would like that too.
the
Green
Cooper
Bay.
DeJean turning into a safety.
I just want to have the one white corner.
He probably won't play
No.
corner in the NFL. He is
Well, he
the
could play
safety.
slot. Play slot corner. Charles Woodson won a defensive player of the year at slot corner. So
His
I'm-
ball skills are ridiculous for a DB.
I like Nixon, but I'm sick of seeing dudes that aren't high draft picks playing slot corner and us treating it like it's not an important position.
And then them getting
let's
cooked.
be honest, the Packers wide receiver 1 is going to play out of the slot 90% of the time.
Yep. So why don't we
So-
defend that?
It was
Right.
safe to say that Keyshawn Nixon was #cooked on defense this year.
Only half the time.
He's still a dog. He's still K9.
Yeah,
mean-
he's still canine.
At least he can tackle. You can't say
That's
that for
true.
most of the Packers defense.
That's very
Darnell
true.
Savage.
Hey. No Darnell Savage slander.
If he could tackle better, he would be re-signed already.
If he could tackle better, he would be the nickel back.
Yeah, probably. Jeff Hafley finally had his press conference and he won it. Like, he won the presser. Talked about the staff, talked about his philosophy, mentioned press man coverage.
A
See
lot.
episode 10 for more details on how much Hafley loves press man coverage. it's fun. Like he's going to expect a lot, but he also brought in a staff of guys that he trusts. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see the system. Obviously, there's not much we can talk about that until we see, what they do in the draft, what they do in training camp, stuff like that. But super excited for what's going down with Hafley.
And the fact that there's like little to no drama coming out of Green Bay going into Combine Week comparatively to what has been like last ever since 2020 at least, even before then, like with Rodgers, I feel relaxed going into the
You don't
Combine
miss
as a
the
Packers
Hatman
fan.
watch?
As much as I was
Are you
blessed
going
to
on
be
a
a part of the
darkness retreat?
Hatman, as much as I was contemplating going on the darkness retreat to go find my inner Hatman,
Are
I
we
am
going back
glad.
on the Hatman watch?
Are we?
I want him to
Can
do
we?
that
hope
with the
not.
Jets. That'd be awesome.
Then we can really go back on the
Yeah, we
Hatman
can.
watch.
Do you think Rogers wants them to delete that tweet about the combine that the Jets put out? His like interview. It's super cringy, but like, how big are you? Oh, what's your measurables? And he even said some things in there that I don't think he believes anymore. So
It's the least surprising thing
Right.
you could have told me.
Honestly, now that you guys say it, I couldn't even tell you that the combine was coming up just because I haven't heard about it.
I wouldn't have known
not
about
that
it.
big of a deal anymore.
No.
No.
I wouldn't have known about it unless Jacob was sending us pictures of Lucas Oil with all the
Yeah, got to do Lucas Oil tour. Got to go on the field. They had the bench press or the bench racks in fresh for the combine. They had the
Got to take a
vertical
roughing
jump
the
out.
passer hit.
Of course, of course. Hey, it's tough out in these streets in the NFL, all right? Just had to get the real NFL experience. I was on an NFL field, so I had to experience what it was like to play at the NFL. So nothing like being face down on the
Then
the
then you
turf,
needed
Lucas
the
Oil
yell.
turf.
Then you needed the flag next to you.
Well, yeah, I was playing
Oh.
quarterback. It was
We
I was
we can
roughing the passer,
Photoshop
all
that
right?
and we'll Photoshop that
We
in.
could Photoshop
we
that
can
in.
we can
Awesome.
Photoshop it. Yep.
Ugh,
Shout out
Yeah.
to the Milwaukee Admirals.
absolutely.
That team is
Are they still at
special.
19?
They
It
they got
ended.
it
in a row.
ended. It
Yeah.
ended.
Oh,
It did end.
All good
But
things
What
must come to an
Sunday?
end.
Yeah,
I think so,
Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah. Just gotta start a new one.
Big City
Absolutely.
Connect jersey or Big
Yes.
City Connect sweater on Friday.
That is
On
sick.
Friday.
that's gonna be awesome. Sal
Yeah.
was rocking that.
Sal was rocking.
I can't
it.
think
It
of a
looks
better person to
electric.
rock that than Sal.
He looks good in a sweater.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he looks good in the sweater.
He like, I don't know. I don't follow the Admirals real close, but racking off 19 in a row is in any sport is ridiculous. Let alone
No.
from puck.
It doesn't even matter minors, majors. 19 in professional sports is really
Impressive.
hard.
It is impressive for them to be able to rattle off that many games, especially in the game of hockey, because especially with hockey, it is such a random sport that like one or two bounces that doesn't go your way, and you're in the hole pretty quickly. So for them to be able to sustain that the entire time was awesome.
All right, I have a question because you guys follow hockey more than I do.
A little bit.
Hockey has back-to-backs, right? Like they play Saturday, they play Sunday.
Yeah,
That is
they'll
r-
back to backs.
And they don't they don't complain about them.
They
No,
get hit in the
No.
face. And have you been following the like 6,
Like-
7 kid from the Rangers that just
Yeah, that
called
guy's
up?
black eye
Alright.
is
Oh
rough.
my god, that was
Alright.
hilarious.
The Hart Memorial front runner Nathan McKinnon took a puck to the mouth, was out for like 4 minutes, and went back for his next shift.
And then you see NBA players complaining about playing on a back-to-back. You don't see
They-
hockey players playing a more grueling sport.
They complain if they have to play a game, have a travel day, and then play the next day.
It's just
But
crazy.
hockey players are built different.
Yes,
They
they
really
are.
are. That guy from the Rangers has like I think 20 some like minutes on the ice and like double or triple that in penalty minutes because I think he's
I
gotten
thought it
in-
was like 9
oh
time
something
on
like
ice
that.
and 22 penalty minutes.
It's ridiculous.
He's
like,
got one job and one job only.
I
and
mean-
he knows his role. He
I mean,
knows
this-
he's there.
This man went in a Stadium Series game,
Making
First
his
shift.
debut
First
in the
shift.
stadium. throwing down. Like that is as hockey as you can
Love it.
possibly get.
Kelly,
Gotta
you wanna tell us about that Islanders meltdown in the Stadium series or no?
I've just become accustomed myself as a diehard Islanders fan. I've just become accustomed to Islanders sucking. But I really think that 21 team, that run they had in the postseason, that's what keeps
Special.
me bringing back because that team was just so good. And I'll never be able to experience that run again as an Islanders
Hey,
fan.
speaking of runs coming up, Badger hockey. They are playing this weekend for the Big Ten in hockey. So they
Michigan
are playing
State.
Michigan. They're playing Michigan State. I don't know. Are they in are they in East
No,
Lansing
it's
or are
at
they in
home.
That's
Madtown?
at the Cole
No,
Center.
it's
Oh,
in
at
Madison.
at the barn.
Oh,
Oh,
Get the
pack the
barn
barn.
rocking.
Pack the barn. Get everyone rolling. It is a huge series for the
The
Big Ten.
boys are buzzing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a pro hockey podcast. Go Badger hockey.
How's
Pack the
the
barn.
women's hockey? Let me
They ended their regular season by beating Ohio State as the #1 team in the country 4-2.
oh, okay.
Even better.
And they're the #2 team. The women's hockey team is the #2 team in the country.
Postseason
Last year, for the
hockey,
record,
baby.
the women were not ranked going into the postseason and won the Natty. So
Hockey
shout
town.
out women's hockey.
It is an
Wisconsin
Madison
hockey.
is
Hockey
a hockey
state.
town.
We're a hockey state.
29-5 for the women.
How do we not have a pro team? This is actually garbage.
The Admirals NHL team is the team that is supposed to be in Milwaukee. Bradley Center was built for the Nashville Predators.
And I think the Blackhawks have a big thing to do with it because we're within 90-mile radius or something like that. They don't want us
There
taking
are
fans,
3
apparently.
MLB teams in a 90-mile radius.
It's the TV rights with
All right.
whatever.
You know what? Let's put the hockey team up here. Put them in Point. Put them in Appleton.
Put them in
Green
Madison, to
Bay.
be honest. That wouldn't
Yeah.
be a bad idea.
No,
Like,
Green
it
Bay
really
would be
wouldn't.
nice.
This state deserves
Hey,
a professional hockey team.
the Green Bay Gamblers are the team in Green Bay.
There
All
would be
right.
a lot more casual hockey fans like myself that would watch so much hockey just if we had a team, a professional one.
Like, it is good. Like, it would be electric. Every night would be a zoo.
Absolutely.
Admirals games are electric.
Yeah. So let's get a real pro team out here.
Bring the Yotes here.
Oh, I was actually thinking that too. Bring back the
Winnipeg's
Thrashers
floundering.
just to move them.
Winnipeg's floundering right now. They can't get people in the seats and they're third in the West. So hopefully, maybe.
Come on home.
We might
Look,
have to
If we
raise
can
some
get
money.
pro hockey, the NBA can have the Supersonics back.
We'll make a GoFundMe. All right.
We're starting the Cheesehead Chatter NHL team start. We're starting it from the ground up.
We're gonna own an
Us
NHL
and
franchise.
9,999,000 friends.
Oh,
If you want to join in, join the GoFundMe.
we'll post the GoFundMe in the description.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we will.
Like, seriously, I just don't understand how we don't have pro hockey. Like, it's been my biggest gripe, and I get people all the time asking, "Well, who's your team?" Sorry, I'm getting distracted right now because Texas Tech and Texas are about to fight
Oh,
in
awesome.
basketball.
Oh, nice.
Heck yeah.
But like Phoenix has a pro hockey team.
That's being very loose, but okay.
Nashville has a pro hockey team.
That is supposed to be in Milwaukee.
They beat Milwaukee for that.
Tampa. I get
Wait.
yes.
That
Okay.
Tampa was
They're great.
electric.
They're
That was
great.
a great arena.
Carolina's got a pro hockey
Yeah,
team.
that I don't see how
Like,
Milwaukee.
these are the
doesn't have
wrong
one.
areas
Right.
for hockey.
Well, there's
Batman.
two hockey teams in Alberta, Canada, and both of them are in the middle of nowhere.
No.
I mean, the Coyotes are playing in a college arena right now. It seats 5,000 people. Like, what are we doing?
And I bet they can't even fill that barn.
No, I think it's probably not. No way.
So, all right, Commish, time to get on it. Let's go. Pro hockey to Wisconsin.
We're starting it. We're starting the train.
Join the
And
join the train.
Instead of the GoFundMe, we'll make a petition. We'll send it to Bettman.
There we go.
We'll be on change.org if you're looking for us.
We'll also post that in the description.
Might as well just make both, honestly.
We promise the funds won't go towards us.
Pinky promise.
All right. On that note, thanks for joining us for another fantastic episode. Do us a favor, hit that follow button, hit us up on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're looking for us, you'll find us.
It's all
We're
there
not
in the
hiding.
link tree.
Well,
We're not too far away.
All
you
there in
won't
the
find
link
us
tree.
on Facebook, but
Maybe soon.
Hey,
Soon.
we
Maybe
used a segment that was commented on TikTok. Maybe you guys can send us some other topics we can talk about.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll give you a shout out too.
we couldn't say that against Nate TikTok name.
But the person is from TikTok. If you want,
But
if
he
you
is
are
from
really, if you're really dying to see the name,
Go check out the TikTok.
go to the Cheesehead Chatter TikTok.
Uh,
Thanks, guys. No fake tough guys.
no fake tough guys.